live with Tao. When meditation attains fulfillment, you are a new person. Those who meditate one day or the other, they come to the point when they become scared, thrown back, unable to understand what is happening. They come and say, now we cannot continue anymore. It is impossible. A point comes where one feels that one is dying. This is not only true about meditation, instead it is true about love. When love deepens, you reach to the point that you feel that you are dying. Love and meditation are two sides of the same coin. And that point is of a deeper depth than the normal death that you have known, that you have heard. Because now the innermost is being separated, the most inner identity is being shattered. Whatever you had known as your inner identity, whatever you have known yourself to be, is being shattered. One feels as a result. One is dying. One feels now one is moving into non-existence. This can happen through meditation. This can happen through love as well. The inner being is like a tunnel. From one side, the entrance is meditation, the other side. So when you enter from the side of meditation, you come out through the door of love. And when you enter through the other side, the entrance from the door of love, you reach to meditation. In that moment of deep meditation or in deep love, one feels one is dying. One feels that one is moving into non-existence. A deep abyss opens. An unfathomable deep abyss opens. Ordinary human consciousness cannot understand this. Infinite emptiness opens. One is scared and wants to run back to the body so that one is not thrown into that unfathomable abyss. Because the earth beneath your feet is moving. It is being removed. A deep valley is opening, the valley of nothingness. So people, even if they try, they always try superficially. This happens in both routes, through love or through meditation. Having realized that state, people try to continue the love in superficial manner. The same thing they play with meditation, they play with love, hoping that it may They are unconsciously aware that if they move deep, they will be no more. There is a vast gap between your innerness and outer presence. And that is right. The fear is bound to be there. This fear, this feeling of scarceness is natural. But you will not remain the same. You will not remain the same again once you have known that abyss, following the route of meditation or love. That shunya, that emptiness, that void, you will not be able, with that void, with that emptiness, you will not be the same again. Then ordinary way of life will be meaningless for you. You come back, but you come back resurrected as a new person. And in the beginning it becomes difficult for you to understand that. The old has disappeared. The new is not understood as yet. You have not understood what has happened to you. You cannot find even a trace of it, or where has the old has gone. The old was the identity with the mind. The old was the identity with the mind. Now you cannot be identified with the mind. Whatever route you follow, you cannot be identified with the mind anymore. Now you can use the mind. You can use the body, but they have become instruments. You are ever them. When this happens for the first time, you do not understand. So when you are within the energy field of an awakened one, this will happen. A feeling may come that something has changed in you, but you do not understand it at conscious level. The old was the identity with the mind. Now you cannot be identified with the mind. Now you can use the mind and the body. They have become instruments. You are above them. Whatsoever you do, you can do. But you are not one with them. This gives freedom. You have to live this freedom moment to moment. But because of lack of understanding, you miss such moments. Lucky are those who realize this moment and then begin to live in that ultimate freedom. This can happen only when you reach through the abyss to the point thinking nothing. This is paradoxical, isn't it? Isn't it paradoxical? Thinking nothing. You can think about things. How can you think about no thing? What does this no thing means? And how can you think about it? How can you think about it? Whenever you think about something, it becomes a thing. It becomes an object. It becomes a thought. And thoughts too are things. How can you think no thing? You cannot, but in an effort. effort to think no thing, thinking is no more. You say that I cannot think anymore. Thinking will dissolve, and this is the moment of benediction when thinking dissolves. Sometimes this moment comes in, and when I ask you to explain, you said, my mind is blank and I cannot think at this time. But this is a blessing, a benediction. The effort to think no thing, thinking will be lost. And that is important. Thinking will be dissolved in that abyss. You may have heard about the Zen cones. Zen master gives an absurd puzzle to the seeker to think about, and it is something which cannot be taught. It is given knowingly just so that thinking stops. For example, they say to the seeker, go and find out your original face. Go and find out what your original face is. The face that you had when you were born. Don't think about the face which you have got now. Think about the face that you had before birth. There was no face. How can you think about it? You have to be. You cannot think about it. There was no face before birth. Truth have no face. Existence is faceless. There was no face before birth. The face comes with the birth, with the body. The face is part of the body. When you experience the state of bodilessness through meditation or through love, you have no face. This is the symbol of Shivling. There is no face. This is the moment. This Shivling is an expression of ultimate ecstasy. The ultimate ecstasy can happen through love, through meditation. Whatever way be the life, your way, the moment you experience through love, you have no face. Only the body has a face. This is why Shivling is symbol of light. And when face vanishes, you are nothing else but a light onto yourself. You are faceless. Close your eyes and you have no face. You know about the face only through the mirror. You have not seen it yourself. Have you seen your face if there is no mirror? You cannot see your face if you have no mirror. So your relationship becomes a mirror in which you look at your face. And then one day, through love, you reach your original face. That was before birth, that will be after death. And you cannot see it. How can one think about the original face? But one can try. And the very effort will help. The seeker will try and try again. It is impossible. He will come back to the master again and again asking, Is this the original face? And before he says it to the master says, it is wrong. Whatsoever you bring is going to be wrong. For few months together, the seeker comes again and again. He finds something, imagines something, he sees the face, and he thinks that original face is like that. The master says no. And every time this no, and by, he becomes more and more puzzled. Try to find more. He cannot think. The thinking comes to an end. Whatever I could, this is like this. The original face is like that. Original face is like that. Like this, like that. Only two words, like this or like that. But it is none of them. He tries and fails. And the failure is the basic thing. That failure is basic thing. One day he comes to the total failure. And in that failure, all thinking stops. In that failure, in that total failure, he comes to realize that original face cannot be thought. Nothing can be thought about original face. That moment, thinking stops. When something has happened deep, introspect, you are being taken into meditation. You reach to the deepest core through meditation. And when I ask you to explain, you say my mind is blank, I cannot say anything. No words are coming and I do not want to find any words either. The same thing you had experienced in the moments of deep love. You fail to think what has happened to you now. Sometimes your gestures explain. Your face explains. And one can very easily see that you are not from this world. Through meditation, this can happen. Through love, this can happen. And lucky are those to whom this has happened in both ways. Lucky is the one to whom this has happened through the door of meditation and through the door of love. And whenever this last time happens to a seeker, when he comes to the master, and master says, now there is no need. I see the original face. The same thing I had told someone. You don't need to say anything. I know what had happened. The eyes will become vacant. Eyes have become vacant. The seeker has come to say something, but just to be near that energy field, he has not found any words. You will not find any words. Words is the phenomena of thinking. When thinking dissolves through meditation, deep state of meditation or deep love, taste of love, thinking is no more, words are no more. There was none. He had come for the first time without a word, without an answer, without an explanation. There is no answer to it. He comes silently. Just there is total silence surrounding you and your face. The only word that one can use is, you seem to be not from this world. Nothing more. Every time he had come, he had some answer. The mind was there, the thought was there. He was limited by that thought, by that word. He had found or imagined some face. He was limited by that face. Now he has become original. Now there is no limit. Now he has got no face, no words, no idea, no thought. He has come without a mind. And when you come with no mind, without the mind, you have discovered the original face. No words can explain this. This is the state of no mind. This is the state of no mind, the limited self unlimits. The mind, the thought, the thinking that was limited has become unlimited. The limits are dissolved. Suddenly you are everywhere. Suddenly you are everyone. Suddenly you are in the trees. You are in the stones. You are in the sky. You are in the friend. You are in the enemy. Suddenly you are everywhere. The entire cosmos is filled with you. The whole existence has become just a mirror. You are everywhere, mirrored in the river, in the mountains, in the trees, in friends and foe, in the child, in a man, in a woman. This state is the state of bliss. Words have vanished. Now nothing can disturb you in that moment, because nothing exists except a subtle presence, and that subtle presence is you. Now nothing can destroy you. Nothing can exist except you. Now there is no death. You have tasted that is never born, never dies. You experience this in a moment of deep love, in a moment of deep meditation. Now nothing can destroy you. Nothing can exist except you. Now there is no death. Now even in death you are. Now nothing is opposed to you. Alone you exist. This aloneness, this state, Mahabir had called as Kaivalya. Kaivalya means liberation. Kaivalya means total freedom. Kaivalya means awakening, means enlightenment. Why alone? Because everyone is involved, absorbed, has become you. You can express this state in two ways. You can say only I am. Aham Brahmasmi, ever expanding consciousness. I am continuously expanding. I am God, I am divine, total. Everything has come onto me. All the rivers have dissolved into my oceanic being. Alone I exist, nothing else exists. Sufi mystics say this, and when it is said, Muslims could never understand why Sufis say such things. A Sufi says there is no God. Alone I exist. But Islam cannot say this. There is no God. Alone I exist, or I am the God. This is the meaning of the phrase Anal Haq. And when Ali Laj Mansoor said Anal Haq, his master Junaid cautioned him not to say this because nobody will accept this and he will be murdered, and the same thing happened. Ali Laj said, who am I to say this? And the existence wants to overflow itself through me. Anal Haq. I am the light. I am the truth. This is positive way of saying that now no separation is there. Buddha uses the negative way when he says, I am no more. Nothing exists. Both are true because everything is included in me. There is no sense in calling myself. The I is always opposed to you, is always opposed to thou. Kabir says, when I was, you were not. When you are, I am not. Only one can exist. So both are correct. You are, I am. Both are correct to say half empty, half full, because it is both. Cup is half empty, half full. I is always opposed to thou. In relation to you, I is meaningful. When there is no you, when there is no you, the other I is meaningful, meaningless. I is meaningless. So Buddha says, there is no I, nothing exists. Either everything has become you, or you have become a non-being. You dissolve into everything. Both expressions are true, of course. No expression can be totally true. That is why the opposite expression is always true. The glass is half empty and half full. Every expression is partial. Every experience is partial part. That is why opposite expression is also true. That too is part of it. Remember this. Whatsoever you express, you may be true, but the opposite is also true. The very opposite. Really, it is bound to be true because every expression is only a part. There are two types of expressions. One can choose either of the two, the positive or negative. Meditation is the technique of through one. It is one door. Love is another door. both are true. Enough for now.